Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be this. What if you can't stop the negative thoughts? And I get that question a lot. I can't stop my negative thoughts. What do I do? How do I get out of this? So we'll get to that in a second. Real quick. Smile, hand on the heart. Slow your breath. Slow your thinking. Know you're okay. Keep doing that. So, what if you can't stop your negative thoughts? First of all, recognize it's time to thank your brain. Those negative, fearful thoughts. What if this happens? What if that happens? I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. Those negative, fearful, catastrophic thoughts. Thank your brain. Your brain's doing its job. Your brain's job is to keep you safe, keep you alive, keep you out of trouble, right? So a lot of times those negative thoughts are just the stream of consciousness. The brain saying, I don't know if I would go there. That doesn't look too cool. Or last time we went there, you know what happened? We didn't do so well. And so what if we can't stop those negative thoughts? You don't have to, right? Your brain's doing its job. It's doing it exceptionally well. But oftentimes it's operating on a fear paradigm that goes, everything's dangerous out there. Grocery store's dangerous. Jumping in my car is dangerous. Standing in the shower, cooking dinner, washing dishes, doing the laundry, all these things are dangerous. And your brain is going to go, I don't know, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that either. So if you can't stop your negative thoughts, well, first of all, you can't. Your brain's going to do its job. It reserves the right to do its job, whether you want it to or not. So what we want to do is we don't have to stop them. Decide that. So a lot of people say, well, I better fix my negative thoughts. I'm going to reframe them. I'm going to catch the negative thought, and I'm going to change it to a positive one, and I'm going to release that into the universe. And boy, is that exhausting, because we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and if you were told or believe that in order to get better, you must fix all your negative thoughts, you're going to be absolutely exhausted by 6:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, whenever. We have so many thoughts. And for many of us who are in this mind-body condition, many of them by default are repeat, habitual, and on autopilot, which means we're having the same thoughts over and over again. So if you had to stop and fix every single thought you had that didn't seem to fit with this paradigm of I'm okay, I'm going to be okay, again, you'd be exhausted by first thing in the morning. And a lot of people say, well, I can't stop my negative thoughts. I've got this thinking problem, and I'm never going to get better if I have this thinking problem. What do I do? How do I stop them? So people conclude, I have a thinking problem. And then they try to go about fixing their thinking problem with more thinking about their thinking problem, with more thoughts about fixing their thinking problem with their thinking problem. Let me fix that with more thinking. And so they get stuck in this loop of, I just had a negative thought. How do I fix that? And then we end up grabbing that negative thought and wrestling with it, trying to change it, stop it, fix it, switch it. And again, all we're doing all day long is conveying to the brain, you're out of control. I'm never going to get better because I can't stop or fix all these thoughts. It's exhausting. And so, what do? Simply put, let the thoughts float by. Let them float by. The analogy, which I tell sometimes in group coaching, is imagine you're standing in a stream. The water's about 6 inches deep. It's lapping at your ankles. Nice slow-moving stream. The water is analogous to thoughts. And when you first get in, it's nice and clear. You can see your toes in the water. So a little while later, as you're sitting there, this person with the big dog comes in. They let the dog run into the stream, upstream, and that dog is having a blast. It's bouncing around and it's splashing in the water. But what's it doing? It's stirring up all the mud from the bottom of the stream. So now you're standing in this stream nice and clear, and all of a sudden you start to see this dirty water drifting down towards you. The dirty water would be the negative, fearful, catastrophic, what-if thoughts. So if you had to stop them, what would you do? Would you try to reach down, find some stones, and build a dam so it doesn't hit you? Well, by pulling out the stones, you're making more of a mess and stirring up more mud. So that's not going to work. And even if you could, it's not like it's going to stop all that from touching your ankles. Some people think, well, I better fix those thoughts. And so they start to try to change the water by splashing at it and trying to, splash that dirty water away from their ankles. And in that case, they're creating more dirty water, more negative thoughts, more fear, more focus on the thinking and the need to fix it. But here's another choice. What if you just let those thoughts drift on by? Stand quietly in the water. Know that the dirty water, negative thoughts will just drift down, go around your ankles, and then keep going. So we don't have to fix, we don't have to stop, but we don't have to engage in those negative thoughts. We don't have to fix them, stop them, change them. We can just simply allow them to come and drift past. And assuming that dog stops mucking around in the stream upstream, guess what happens? The stream clears again. You look down, you can see your toes again. It's crystal clear. Our thoughts can do the same. The less we engage and try to fix or judge our own thinking, the less negative thinking we actually have. Another analogy I did a while ago was don't click on that thought. And for anybody who spends any amount of time on these devices, social media, let's say you're on Instagram and you click on an advertisement because you're like, I'm curious what that is. Next thing you know, every single time you're on Instagram, an ad for a similar product is going to show up. It's going to show up, going to show up. By clicking on that ad, you have shown the algorithm, I'm interested in that. So what does it do? It gives you more. Well, if Dan liked that, maybe he'll like this too. Here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. Thinking works the same way. When we engage in a thought, wrestle with it, try to stop it, what we are doing is indicating that this is important. And the brain and its algorithm will say, oh, that's important, let me give you more. And so, best way to stop the negative thoughts is by not trying to stop them. Just by conveying that these thoughts are not significant, they're not dangerous, they're not harmful, I don't need to engage in them. I don't need to fix them or stop them, but I don't need to believe them. I don't need to click on them. And guess what? The same exact process works on symptoms. The less you engage on or click on or think about or try to fix or try to stop your symptoms, the more you do that, the more you're conveying to your brain, these things are important. And if we're doing it out of fear, and we're focused on it, and we're anxious about it, and we're angry, and we're frustrated, and we're scared, what we're doing is saying these symptoms are really significant. They're important. The brain's going to go, got it. All right, I'm paying attention. That's important. Let's keep it going. So if you want the symptoms to stop, give it as little fear and attention as you can. Be less bothered by them. Just like this whole dialogue on the thoughts. If you want the negative thoughts to slow down and eventually stop, clarity. I'm not broken. I don't need to fix those thoughts. I just don't have to believe them. You ever talk to somebody at a party somewhere and they start talking at you and telling you a whole bunch of stories, and it's just a lot of stuff, BS. And a lot of times you look at them and go, I don't believe a darn thing this person's telling me. They're just storytelling, bragging, acting like they're super important. And we can disengage from what they're saying by going, they're full of it. I don't need to stop them. I don't need to listen to them. I don't need to believe them. And sure enough, after the party, you go home, you kind of chuckle and go, that was interesting, right? You can do the same thing with your own internal dialogue, your own thinking. You don't have to believe it. We all have a roommate in our head that's doing its best to keep us safe and alive. And part of those warnings coming from a brain perceiving danger are negative thoughts, warnings. Hey, careful, don't do that. Are you sure you want to go there? Oh, don't lift that up. That might hurt. The brain's just doing its job. Thank it. Thank you, brain. You're doing wonderful. But you're operating on this belief that I'm broken, frail, easily injured, and that anything I do will create symptoms and pain or whatever. But we're not that frail. We're not that easily broken. When you avoid doing things, what are we teaching the brain? That thing I'm avoiding, dangerous. And so, we don't have to stop our negative thinking. Please don't try. You don't have to fix every single thought that comes through your brain. You'll be exhausted and it's not sustainable. Then you'll believe it's not possible, so you won't even try that. The path of least resistance is less resistance. Let the thoughts flow down the stream around your ankles and keep on going. You don't have to do anything with them. And the less you click on them, the less you engage on them, the less you react with fear and worry and anxiety to those thoughts, the less you engage, the less of those thoughts you're going to have. Because your social media algorithm pays attention to what you're clicking on. So if you don't want to see 16 ads for vacuums in the next week, don't click on a vacuum cleaner ad. Simply put, if you don't want your brain to keep on sending you negative, fearful images, don't indicate interest in those thoughts. So I hope this makes sense. Love you, folks. If you need anything, hit me up. support@painfreeyou.com. But get your knowledge from the videos. If you want coaching, painfreeyoucoach.com. The links are below. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And as always, folks, we will see you tomorrow. Take care.